Well, a free community event in Knoxville Civic Coliseum focused on training CPR and heart health awareness. Organizers say that the goal is to get more people ready to jump into action in case of a medical emergency before help arrives. The CPR for Life event brought together trainers, vendors, and community partners with hands-on CPR practice and resources. Organizers also connected people with support services, including nutrition help from Second Harvest, along with other forms of health and wellness information. Cynthia Finch is the director of the New Direction Healthcare Solutions, and she says that knowing what to do is the first moments can make all the difference in case of an emergency.
It's a matter of life and death. It's a matter of life and death. If people know kind of what to do, that could be the difference between a person living or not.
And she says that the organization plans to keep expanding CPR education across East Tennessee and encourages people to take a class even if they did miss today's event.